welcome back.
Episode. Excuse me. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to a special episode of the Captain Logan Show. I am, as always, Captain Logan, and joining me tonight is my wonderful, lovely wife, Sara. Hello, Sara. Welcome to the program.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, for a second, I thought you were being a mime.
No, but I could. Although I haven't had any mime training, so.
I like how you could decide if you were going to commit to the bit. You were like,
no, I was about to make a Knuckles joke,
thing?
But,
a Knuckles. I thought you were going to do the wall thing. I thought you were like, should I do... You know what? No, screw it. I'm not doing that. And, like, we got the whole process of your whole thought process where you're like, look, we saw you do it, right?
Yeah,
I'm
well,
going to do the wall. And then you went, you know what? I've not had mime training.
I know that's a class.
It is. My sister took it.
Yes.
Yeah, and they're... Yes. Anyway, so Sara, I almost said it's so good to see you. Obviously, we live together, and we've been married for 11 years, and I see you all the time. But it's cool to have you back on the channel, because it's been forever
good to be back.
Since you've done it. It's good. Or you did Iron Man 2 now. It's good to be back.
Indeed.
Welcome, everybody, to the program. We're doing a promised special episode this weekend. Well, I did a quarantine Captain Logan show on Thursday, which I guess was premature, because quarantine is starting to be... the name of our lives over a lot of this country after even that day where like it was already starting to feel like quarantine, but now there's a lot of like stay-at-home orders and stuff. Starting Tuesday here in Kansas City, we have a stay-at-home order, and it's not actually affecting our lives anymore than
so much.
This already was.
Yeah, because as of this last Tuesday, I was working from home anyway, and we weren't really going out much. I mean, you know, no extracurricular activities for the kids, no nothing, so we haven't had to cart them around anywhere, so we've been home except going to the grocery store. Dining
rooms for restaurants were already closed.
Yeah.
A lot of businesses that we would usually go to were already closed. So it's not like we were out doing stuff. No. And yeah, so it's not going to affect us a whole lot, which I guess is nice. But 30 days.
That's a long time.
It's absolutely wild.
Yeah.
Really interesting times we're all living in. So we did, again, the quarantine show on Thursday, which was a whole lot of coronavirus talk. We did that for, you're talking about that and how it might affect pop culture moving forward and things like that. If you guys have any other follow-up questions or comments or ideas about that tonight, we can do some more of that. That's totally cool. But I don't want to make this just a coronavirus thing. We haven't seen Sara on the channel in a good long time. I'm sure a lot of you guys will have some questions for her. And so feel free to ask anything you want to within reason. We're going to chat about anything and everything you guys want to talk about for an hour. As always, so what I meant to say earlier is we did a goal for this show on that show. So if we hit a certain number, a certain dollar amount, we would at some random time this weekend do another show. I did not make it a show for Sara to come on. That's a bonus. I didn't know that was going to happen, but I suggested it to her, and she was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So.
I have time. I've got an extra hour and a half of my life back every day because I'm not commuting. So a little bit of extra free time.
People really miss you on the channel. No pressure or nothing, but I get a lot of comments about Trexperts and how people miss our doing that. And we've got 3 kids now, and it just makes it really difficult.
It's hard because, I work all day and have the kids, in the evening, and they don't go to bed till late, and I get up super early, so...
Yeah.
It just makes it hard.
Yeah, your schedule is kind of what Eric's schedule has now turned into. So, Eric's not able to be on the channel as much for a lot of the same reasons that you're not.
Yeah, and he doesn't even have kids.
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. Yep. And this is nobody's full-time job but mine, so I'm the only one that has to be here. So anyway, thanks so much for doing it, though.
Yeah.
It's super exciting to try this again. And you have never been on a live show.
I have never been on a live show, no.
The closest you came was you popped in for 5 minutes on the Arkham stream that Dan's and I did.
Oh, yeah.
That was live, but I think that's the only example.
I almost didn't have that,
but... Were you ever in any of those, parties or anything? Maybe.
I mean, would you count that karaoke thing we did forever ago?
It was a really long time ago. That was for the channel, but it wasn't saved. It wasn't posted on the channel.
Okay.
That was back in the dark ages when you couldn't do live shows on YouTube. There wasn't a live streaming thing right to YouTube. You had to use a different website.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the name of the site anymore. It's been so long. I want to say that was 2011, 2012. It was definitely before we moved into the house.
Yeah, but old enough for Jason to sing karaoke. Because Jason was singing, but not
Well, I may be
much.
wrong then. Maybe it was...
It might have been 13.
I thought it even predated Spawn year, though. This is not interesting to anybody else but us. But anyway, so everybody go easy on my wife. She's never done a live show before. She's not used to the live interaction thing. I think she might be slightly nervous about it. So everybody just be easy on her and ask us some cool, interesting things. And everybody's saying hi to you right now. So, yeah, let me go ahead and scroll up. We don't have a chat moderator this evening, so I'm just going to answer things in real time. As always, if you want to make absolutely certain that your question or comment gets read on air, you can leave a super chat, and that helps us keep this train a-chugging, and we sure appreciate anybody who has ever done that or will ever do that. Obviously, don't feel the need to do that, but also don't be upset with me if I miss your question. Even if we don't get a whole lot of pre-written, I will do as many as possible, but I don't have somebody here compiling things, and I have to, interact with my wife so she doesn't think that I'm ignoring her at the same time as I'm also trying to answer your questions. Sarah seems excited just to be on camera and see herself. You're not used to seeing yourself.
I'm not.
So she told me before we started that it's like looking at the mirror. It's like everybody makes faces at each other or at themselves in the mirror, right? And I'm like, I've been going on camera for like a decade. I got this unprofessional person over here going, look at me, I'm on camera.
Pretty much.
You watched a superhero movie tonight that you'd not seen before.
I did.
You are... I think you like the Ant Man movies more than anybody I know.
Probably.
Sarah loved the first Ant Man movie. Didn't get around to seeing the sequel because we've got a...
child under 3?
Exactly, yeah. We've got...
Child under 2,
I was going to say
even
baby,
at this point,
but getting into toddlerhood now.
Yeah. So, yeah, anytime we have a baby in the house, it's really hard for me to go to the movie because the baby doesn't sit still in the theater. So we wait for... video, and then I have to catch up.
And I had just forgotten that you hadn't seen it, and was for a minute kind of putting it off because I didn't love that movie, and then I kind of forgot about it. And then tonight you were like, I want to watch something
fun with a little action-y.
Yeah, and so I went, I guess we're gonna have to watch Ant Man and the Wasp, and you really liked it.
I liked it a lot. Yeah, it was really good.
And you liked it better than the first one.
I did. Yeah, so I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but
no, you are. And other people think that too. I think it's considered by a lot of us one of the weaker MCU movies, but not like offensively weak. Just it's kind of a lame story. There's not enough going on.
It's not a movie to change hearts and minds, certainly.
No, and I don't.
It's fun.
I don't need that. It was
a lot of fun.
It is fun, and I love the car chase at the end with the constant shrinking and growing and all that.
Great.
It's a lot of fun. I think a lot of the humor in that is pretty hit and miss. There's stuff that they think is really funny that I just don't, and it's trying to ramp up too much from some of the humor from the first movie where I'm like, you guys are taking this too far. It's just not as funny as you think it is.
But I don't usually laugh out loud at movies, and there are a few places where I was just laughing.
Me too. I just don't like the feeling of groaning as much as I'm laughing.
I didn't do that.
And I had that with that. Yeah. Can I tell you real quick? I don't want to just sit here and review Ant Man and the Wasp, but we actually just finished watching it like 10 minutes ago, so I actually didn't get a chance to talk to you about your feelings about it at all.
You don't even have your sign, like, feeling it.
It's like right over here. I could totally grab it, but I've done that video already. Okay. I think I might have flipped mine red on that movie, honestly. I mean, I don't hate it. It's fun to watch. I fell asleep the first time I saw it, honestly.
Worth seeing.
I was kind of bored with it. But
it's totally fun.
Can I tell you what my biggest issue with it was?
Sure. The houses didn't have foundations.
I figured that would be your biggest issue. You're the architect.
Yeah. I was trying to figure that out, actually.
Okay, but, hold on. You're an architect. You're not the architect. Because if you were the architect...
I have a room full of many doors that you can walk into.
And TVs all behind you that show, like, different possibilities of including, like, me flipping you off a couple of times.
I know everything.
If you were the architect, we'd all have to sit here and listen to you make, like, a 10-minute speech... and you'd have to say ergo like 55 times. Ergo. Anyway, yes. my wife and I are big Matrix fans. So they're making a Matrix 4. You know about that? Have I told you about that?
I don't think you have.
And everyone's coming back for it, and there's no way that's good.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's no chance.
Probably not,
but we'll see. Really bad idea?
Yeah.
They're having to put off John Wick 4 for it, and I'm like, I know you've only seen the first one, and you didn't like that movie as much as I do, but like,
I liked it still.
Okay.
Yeah.
I should show you my rewind.
Well, you shouldn't, and you should also show me John Wick 2.
Well, I didn't think you wanted to see it. I didn't think you liked the first one well enough. Yeah. You may want to watch the first one again before you do that, because it's been a couple years.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, I was talking about something. Oh, real quick before we start getting to questions, can I tell you what my big issue with Ant Man and the Wasp is?
Yes.
So you've not seen the first one in a long time.
It's been a while.
And I'm not saying that it would necessarily like make you like this less if you went back to it. But one thing I really respected that movie for was as convenient and contrived as it is, as the way that Scott gets back out of the quantum realm at the end of that movie. Oh, I could just put a disc in my belt and I get back to the exact same regular size. Like, really? That seems really easy to me.
Yeah.
But I really respected it for not having him go and luckily find Janet Van Dyne in the quantum realm, and then retroactively we say it happened. And then we spend, because if you're going to do that anyway, okay, fine, just go ahead and have him meet her at the end of the first movie, so we don't have to spend the entire next movie going to try to find her, because we cast Michelle Pfeiffer, who's a great actress, and I got really excited about that casting, and then she didn't get to be in the movie very much, and we spent the entire movie just going to find her. I wanted her to be found in 10 minutes, so then she could be in the movie and do things.
I don't know, yeah, but she was still cool. And he didn't find her, but she found him.
Yeah, and with the stupid dream sequence thing and all that, like I don't like that. Like if you're gonna do that, just have them meet at the end of that first movie.
It didn't bother me.
That's fair. Yeah, but you can see.
I can see why someone might have been.
You can
bothered.
see why I think it's missed potential, though.
Sure.
Anyway, whatever. Let's go ahead and start answering some questions, folks. I already see a few super chats, so I'm gonna start with a pre-written and then go on to some super chats. Carl Maxey, is this a family theme stream? Sort of, I guess. Like, we're married, so we're family, so sure.
Only family allowed on this stream.
Don't say that, because then people are gonna have to leave. Oh, you don't mean in the comments.
No, just in this box.
This little box, yeah. Well, is that really just because we've got the coronavirus and we don't have the coronavirus? That's not what I meant.
What did you let slip?
Is it because the country has we're like Tom Hanks and his wife right now. We do not have the coronavirus. What I meant was the country has the coronavirus. Is it because
we're self-quarantining?
Yeah, I thought maybe it's only families allowed on the stream because only family is really allowed, in the
Anywhere.
house.
Yeah.
That's even not wholly true, but you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna use this as an excuse not to see Brandon, or at least that's my plan right now. Okay, let's see. What do people want to talk about? Peter, Jai, or G? Hey, Cap and Sarah, do you think Whole Foods are expensive? I've never shopped at Whole Foods.
Yes.
You ever shopped there?
Once. I was looking for breadcrumbs of all things, and this was 15 years ago. So prices may have gotten more reasonable since then, but
I'm guessing inflation. I'm
guessing not. But 15 years ago, went there looking for breadcrumbs. I found them for $6, and I went to a different store and found them for $1. So
well,
that's my only story. I don't know how everything else
can I suggest that you could have just bought some bread?
It doesn't work.
And this
different thing.
I know. I'm just making. I can't be the only person who is thinking that. There's got to be other people in the comments that are like, bread? Like, I know what you use those for,
yes.
But like, I'm thinking back to my prior before I met you life when I was ignorant of things. I almost said you Midwesterners. Like, I'm originally from the South, but I grew up mostly in the Midwest.
Yeah.
But I think of you as more Midwestern than me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I grew up among basically 3 places, and 2 of them were Midwestern, so it's fair.
So I knew this was inevitable, so we'll just go ahead and get it out of the way. 2 people asking about this. John Hufford, are you guys still watching Picard? And the answer is, unfortunately.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, we are. I'm still watching that show because I know people are going to ask me about it, and it's because it's Patrick Stewart, and no matter how bad it gets, it's difficult for me to not look at it because I was the crazy person that watched both seasons so far of Discovery. and it's not any worse than that show. It is as bad, I think, as that show. I really do. But it's not any worse than that.
It can't be worse than that show. I'm still watching it.
Wouldn't I be crazy to watch to watch Discovery, but not Discovery plus Picard? Like, it's...
Yeah, well, at least, you know, the protagonist is somebody that I can watch on screen. I just couldn't get around the protagonist on Discovery at all.
You just didn't really care for Michael Burnham.
I couldn't relate. It was bad.
Because she ain't a character. Now, Picard's not exactly a character in this now
either. But I mean, you can...
Was it just the familiar, though? Was it just that there's at least something I recognize that I can kind of...
Yeah, I started out the Picard show, and now it's who knows what it is show, and they just haven't changed the title yet.
Yeah, that happened a lot faster than Smallville,
Yeah,
right?
I was going to say, it's like Smallville, but they, you know... They never changed from Smallville, even though they weren't Smallville anymore.
Yeah, and like halfway through. Back Studios, $1.99 Super Chat, thanks buddy. Asking the Trexperts, how bad is Picard, Sarah?
How bad is it?
I love how he said asking the Trexperts, but then he specifically addressed that question to you. The Trexperts, and then he goes, comma, Sarah?
Yeah, it's bad. If I were not a Trexpert, I would not be watching.
Yeah, but you didn't give Discovery more than 3 episodes.
No, it wasn't Star Trek.
It's not. This isn't either, though.
This isn't either.
And it's made by the same people.
It's at least
mostly.
Picard, not Egyptian Klingons. I don't know, eating dead
people? With a spore drive and all these things that they have to come up with some stupid reason to retcon later because you know they can't exist in later canon. And also just really sappy nonsense constantly.
Yeah, so Picard is hard to watch, mostly because it's a 1-episode story spread out to how many episodes?
10, and the last one is next week.
So they spent, 3 episodes getting on a ship?
Yeah.
And,
yeah, it took them 3. We were not on a ship until the end of the 3rd episode, which is almost a third of the way through.
And it took them, 3 episodes to get to the Borg cube? To find the robot girl?
And it took 5 before they told us that the Borg cube was a thing everybody knew about. I thought it was a secret for half of the show.
And half the scenes you fall asleep to. The other half you can't actually understand what's going on because people are mumbling.
There's a lot of mumbling in that show.
And half
Mike,
the time,
Mike on Red Letter Media is right about that.
You don't know why you're supposed to care about what's happening.
And also, can we talk about repeated scenes?
Yeah, like the robot girl on the Borg cube and the Romulan guy, where they just kept having the same scene every couple episodes.
Over and over again? Until suddenly we're supposed to, really find them, cute together when they decide to, sock float down the corridor.
Yeah, apparently they don't have wooden floors in the future, and they don't have socks, and so they don't, use furniture polish and go sliding that way. They have to do it all futuristic way. So,
well, they wouldn't have wooden floors.
Why
on
not?
A Borg cube.
Well, you wouldn't on a Borg cube.
Yeah.
But you might.
Oh, you're just saying. You're just saying
they're acting like you have to do this in space.
Oh, are you suggesting?
I found the secret of the Borg. What they do in their free time is what we used to do in our dining room. No.
Okay, so you're suggesting that they just discovered this is like a fun thing to do. Like, forget the holodeck. This is the ticket, man.
That's what it came off like. I mean, he was like, you'll never guess this. I found this awesome room where the Borg just goes sliding down the corridor. And that was the plot of the episode.
We went down to this nearby planet. We found a bottle of Pledge, and we sprayed it down the corridor. You will not believe the result. But yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah,
and,
it's bad.
I don't want to spoil major things for anybody that cares, but...
we spoiled the Borg floor.
It's a pretty massive spoiler. There's a whole thing about creating androids using a positron, which is dopey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so a unit of energy? It's like a piece of a molecule or something?
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know how that works. But...
And then there's... I guess this is kind of a spoiler, but, if you haven't been watching the show, you won't care yet. You won't know about this. I don't think it's a big deal. But, this is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in anything. There's a disease that can only be cured by making the cure in the head of an android using their positronic brain. What? That's how you make the...
And who found that out?
Yeah, and like
Who discovered that?
really lucky that such a thing exists, and that like I'm assuming that's a disease nobody knew about until like recently in like the 24th century, and it's a good thing that like we figured out this cure the only time it can, and like positronic brains pretty darn rare, right? Because Nguyen Sung was the only one that can make them for the longest time.
Well, you got the Sung androids, and then after that I guess they started making androids, and you could do it there, but I'm
not saying there aren't
a short period of time.
Other species that can do it, but like in the Federation, that's the only like. And I thought time crystals from Discovery were dumb. Have I told you about the time crystal thing?
Yes.
That's what Borath is for now. Apparently, anyway. I know there's probably folks watching that don't care about this, but so yeah,
we don't care.
We will. we will go ahead and move on.
But we're watching this collision.
Yeah, it's
this
rough.
Extremely slow, boring train wreck of a show.
I honestly thought the thing I am most surprised about is that you didn't drop off.
I thought about it honestly, but I had to know.
Was the main thing that kept you or that made you think about dropping it F-bomb Admiral, who comes back episodes later just to deliver yet another F-bomb?
Well,
she's been in 2 scenes. She's just there to say F you to Picard. It's hilarious.
I was committed by that point, but yeah, no, that was when I decided this was not Star Trek anymore.
Somebody
even
ought to
trying
be
to
committed,
be.
That's for sure. T-Edge1, $5 super chat. Thanks, man. It's so nice seeing Sarah on the channel again. Sarah's with an H. I don't mean to call you out, but just in case anybody wants to spell my wife's name correctly, it's with an H. Logan is the normal way you usually see that spelled.
With an H.
Logan. Old man Logan. It's so nice seeing Sarah on the channel again. Are you as surprised with Cap's YouTube success as Cap? Also, you guys look so awesome together.
Thanks, yeah. Yes. Complete surprise. No, it's funny, because when Cap started this,
because my wife calls me Cap.
Always.
Most of my friends do now. She doesn't. I mean, your wife will call you by usually whatever name she knew you as when you met and when you were dating, right?
Yeah. No.
Anyway.
Yeah. No, I call you Cap because I don't want to spoil your secret identity. No.
Much of a secret. I just published an audiobook two weeks ago with my name. So yeah. Or I mean, at least my first name.
Captain Logan.
My first name's Captain.
No.
So I'm sorry. Totally listening.
But yeah, no, when Cap started this, we were thinking, oh yeah, this is just this fun thing to do, and we were thinking it was just a hobby and nothing would happen and only random, I don't know, not very many people get famous. It's hard to do.
Okay. So and I'm not famous.
Not that you're YouTube famous,
no, certainly
but
not.
Like we weren't even thinking this could be, make money in any kind of way, and it took a long time for, AdSense or anything, but
I might be. I don't even know what YouTube famous means. Have you noticed that term has kind of gone away, or at least I haven't heard that as much in recent years? Because there's a lot of legitimate celebrities now that came out of YouTube, and so if YouTube famous is still a thing, maybe I sort of have that moniker.
I would just say that
sort of
people
just because I have a following at all that like
know you in person, know you online, and that's cool.
Yeah.
So,
No, it is cool.
Yeah. You have a cool community, so
but you're surprised.
Not everyone can say that
because you never believed in me, and you. I obviously neither of us thought that this would be the main thing I would be doing.
No, absolutely not.
I figured I would be writing novels in obscurity, and now I'm writing novels in obscurity and doing this. So it's great.
And this is better than your novels, or at least doing better.
She doesn't like my novels either, apparently. And this is better than your novels. Yeah. Just sitting here talking with me. The fact that I'm here makes it so much better than your novels.
Don't you know it? No.
TH1, I was excited about that question until I heard the answer to it. Okay. Michael McAllister, $4.99 Super Chat. Thank you so much. Cap, are you too obsessed with Star Trek? Bringing back that question that Vince and I asked all those years ago. Do you still have that Q costume? That is so cool. Saw the classic GNN talk with Vince recently. Oh, cool. That Q costume is in a bag somewhere, and we've moved recently, so I have no idea. It's in the garage. I have it somewhere. I think there are pieces of it missing, so if I ever wanted to use it again, I would have to cut some fabric. And by that, I mean get somebody who knows what they're doing to cut some fabric. And I mean, I can probably cut fabric, but I can't
know how
sew.
to use scissors. I can help
Thanks.
you with fabric.
I don't know why we didn't just call this the Sara Insults Cap Show.
You could have.
I could. I retroactively, I may, honestly. That may be the new title. But anyway, you may have lived with that title for half an hour if you're watching this after the fact. So, the Q costume is still somewhere. I don't think I'm too obsessed with Star Trek. It's just a great love of mine. Some of the things I used to do that would make you think I was too obsessed with Star Trek. That was a bad sentence. I've grown out of, and I don't do anymore. I haven't worn a uniform in a really long time. I used to.
That's true. Yeah.
I used to do that on camera for which, like, on camera I think it's fine, but like for the captain's logs and things like that, I just haven't thought to get it out in a long time. I don't know. So there's certain things like that. Like I've like 1/4 of the bunker is devoted to Star Trek, but that's because I have a lot of Star Trek stuff. But yeah, I had kind of fell out of it for a while, to be honest with you.
I had to bring him back.
Not that I lost complete interest. I just wasn't watching stuff and keeping my my trivia brain up. And lately, I've been getting quite a bit back into it. And I think I'm a lot less rusty than I was. So
yeah. Well, I mean, we had to stop doing the club, and that'll get you rusty on trivia quick.
Yeah,
So.
because especially when we were doing that weekly, and I was constantly writing quizzes and stuff. I mean, like I felt like I was teaching a class in Star Trek, kind of, and I was just always reinforcing a lot of information, both on the production side and mostly, of course, on the canon side. And yeah, we don't do that anymore. And it's been, what, 3 years now?
Yeah,
two or 3 years?
It's been a long time, yeah.
And I miss the club a lot, certainly, and we just don't really have the time for it now.
Yeah,
it wasn't real conducive to our schedules and stuff. So, but wanting to do more Star Trek stuff on the channel. We've been talking about this for a long time, and I don't have a date for you guys yet, but after we do the Star Trek Beyond commentary, so Adam and Brandon and I, the Treknado team, we have recorded a Darkness commentary. That'll come out in a couple weeks, and then Star Trek Into Darkness, and spoiler alert, none of us like it. And then used to like it when I first saw it. That's the reason I didn't go back to the theater, or at least watch it on video. I think I saw that twice in the theater. But anyway, And so we've got to do Beyond, and then after that, we're going to start doing soon, hopefully, a monthly Star Trek live show, and I hope you'll pop in for some of those.
I will if I can.
And we're going to do that kind of like Batmosphere. It'll be a similar format to Batmosphere, so we'll pick a character or some kind of Star Trek topic for each of those shows. Batmosphere so far has all been characters, although we're going to do a Batmobile show next time,
Really?
which I think will be fun.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
And Star Trek could be anything, though. It could be a species, it could be a character, and it's been so long since Sarah and I did Trexperts that we'll probably go back and revisit quite a few things that we did on that show. For anybody wondering, because people ask me about this all the time, besides the time issue and just Sarah and I getting together on camera, because literally, guys, when we used to shoot that, we would occasionally have to stop in the middle of one and go deal with the kids or something. Like, we would have to shoot that later at night when Sarah should be sleeping, because she has like a normal job, like a real job. Sarah has a real job. And so that was one of the big things, but the other one was we kind of ran out of stuff.
We were having a harder time coming up with topics, certainly.
We talked about so many things. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that, like, we wanted to do season overviews, and we started those, and we just never got around to getting back to that because we didn't have time to watch a lot of stuff together.
Yeah.
But we're watching Trek together again now. We're going through Voyager, and that's been really fun.
Except when it's not, which is sometimes.
Well, it's been fun watching
No,
with
it's
you.
been fun.
But apparently I'm the sentimental one of the two of us. So, anyway, so why don't you answer that question? Do you think I'm still, at this point, do you think I'm too obsessed with Star Trek?
No, not enough.
Not enough. Okay.
Not enough. Not nearly enough.
$10 super chat from Azim. Aloha, Sarah and Cap. Are you? Do you live in Hawaii? I'm just curious. And thanks so much for the super chat. When it comes to story/character developments, is there such a thing as being fundamentally flawed, or is it always a matter of writing/execution? Love you guys. Thanks so much, Azim. Azim's one of our big regular viewers. He pops in a lot and comes to a lot of live shows. So thanks a bunch, buddy. I answer these kinds of questions all the time, so I'm going to let you field it first.
Oh. Well, I would say, from my expert opinion, I think it can probably happen that something could be fundamentally flawed, but I think most things would be a matter of writing or execution. Just because you can make anything work, it's just a matter of making it work.
Oh, so you're just giving my answer, okay? But
well,
it's yeah.
I'm cheating.
No, I mean
that's the right answer.
But of course, that's what I would have said, and that's why I let you field it first, because I say that like 3 times a week.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I could give you the break.
Thanks. I have not yet met. I mean, sometimes I'll see a movie or read something where I'm like, boy, this is really badly executed. I don't know how you make that work. But I've seen so many other things where I'm like, well, that shouldn't work.
Yeah, and then it does.
That it's impossible for me to believe unless I saw the whole of the multiverse where there was not one dimension in which that was executed well. I find it impossible to believe that that even the most bizarre and goofy and kind of concept for a story or a character or something can't work. Now, when you say development, that's a little bit different. Like when we're just talking about like story concepts. Or even like making weird anachronistic things go together, like the story equivalent of I'm gonna put together like pickles and peanut butter, like can I make it work? But when you say story or character developments, when we're talking about characters, character development is learning about who a person is, and then the progression of that character needs to fall in line with that, and we need to believe that the thing that they're doing is something that they would do based on what they've gone through so far and the decisions that they're making and the actions they're taking. And so, yeah, there are lots of character developments based on a character that you've met that would be a bad idea no matter what you did with it, because you just couldn't begin to buy that they would do that. You see what I'm saying? Unless you just put them in a situation, where that can happen. So, for instance, could I ever be led to believe that Captain Kirk would just murder someone in cold blood?
But that would be the teaser, and then you'd find out that, no, it actually wasn't Captain Kirk, because he was under some sort of drug, or he was a robot.
Yeah, exactly. But if you tried to get away with it as legitimately the thing that guy would do, you've got to make it a completely tragic story where now we've just changed fundamentally what that character is. So yeah, you can still
or
make
else it's
that.
New Trek.
So So I guess you can make that work. But can you make it work and then continue on with the standard status quo of a thing? No. So I don't know. It's a little bit more complicated when you're just talking about characters, story concepts. I think. Yeah. Pretty much anything.
Or initial concept for character.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, how you develop the character.
You start to get more limited when you have continuity, and by continuity I just mean things that have happened already that you're stuck with.
Yeah. Well, it's like life. I mean, you're not going to have somebody who's done the same thing for 20 years have a complete and total break with reality and go randomly kill somebody unless there's some really extenuating circumstance. And you've got to do the same thing in your story, otherwise it doesn't work.
I have missed a couple of super chats, so let me go up and look at that real quick. Divid22, Captain Sara not Lance on deck. Yep, Sara is not Sara Lance. My wife has still not seen any of the Sara Lance stuff. It was one of my favorite, kind of my favorite character from that stuff.
I saw her
from the Arrowverse
start to die on a boat.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing is you haven't even seen the actress who plays her because she was recast later. But anyway, spoiler alert, she doesn't die on the boat. And you know what? I kept that out of my hat for the longest time. I didn't want to spoil that for you. And then Legends happened, and then
Sara Lance merchandise, and then the cat was out of the bag at that point.
Yeah, and I tried to even keep you from knowing about that for a while, and some people probably thought that was because I had the hots for Katie Lotz, but it wasn't that. It was because you were watching Arrow with me, and you seemed to really like the first season, and then I knew it didn't get great after that, and so I've never bothered showing you the second, even though it's also really good until it's not.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's hard for me to continue watching when I know something will get bad.
I know. I have exactly the same thing. But I don't know. At some point, I might try to coerce you into looking at that season, just because it's one of my favorite characters, and you've never got to see her. But not anymore. Like, yeah. I don't watch Legends just because she's on it. She's the captain on that show. Mm-hmm. Like, she's the captain of the time ship, and I'm not watching it.
Yeah.
They put Constantine in that show.
Yeah.
They put Matt Ryan in that show.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And you want it to be on, but you know it's not.
Yeah.
So anyway, Game Station 3, $2 super chat. Your Son of the Mask review is gone. Yes, I'm well aware. That got copyright flagged months ago and blocked. So things can get flagged and nothing happens except that you lose monetization. But this was one of the few that got blocked. And it's irritating. The old reviews with stills, if a still is on screen too long, sometimes the bots will flag it. And then if a company doesn't like that their stuff is being used, they will block you. And even though it is fair use, sometimes it doesn't matter if you appeal, you still can't win it. So I don't do the stills anymore sitting on the screen. I think I have pretty much gotten around this now by panning and by using shorter clips. So I even use clips now, but they don't go past 10 or 12 seconds, because if they do, you can get flagged. None of the new rewinds in the 2.0 format have gotten even flagged yet, which is exciting, and I hope that trend continues. So Son of the Mask is going to be a matter of going back and re-editing that. I would have just posted the audio version if I was still doing the glorified podcast thing, but I'm not. So yeah, people have been complaining about that a lot lately. I need to try to get that up. I know that's a lot of people's favorite or one of their favorites, and thanks for that. I had a lot of fun making that. I didn't have fun watching that. It was one of the worst movies ever. But I don't know what it is. Like, some of the rewinds I'm most proud of, and I agree with the audience. Like, a lot of the audience, their favorite rewinds are the bad movies. And I agree with folks. People really like the Underdog review. I had a lot of fun making that. People like the Howard the Duck review. I had a lot of fun making that. I did a 5-minute pizza rant, which was a lot of fun. And yeah, but it's gone. The Howard the Duck review was gone for a while, and I managed to bring it back for the brink somehow. But anyway, so I'll try to get that back up at some point if I can. Back Studios, $1.99 super chat. If a green flash occurred, what foods would you two be? Bag's been reading my novel.
Oh. So
what food do you think you would turn into?
Pizza roll.
Hey, Meryl, if you want pizza roll.
Yep.
Okay, but you don't like pizza rolls?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, you do like, but you know what? We just haven't had that in a long time.
Don't care much for them, and I can't get the kids to eat them, so I don't buy pizza rolls.
It's like, what's the point? Yeah. Wow. You, the dogs are freaking out. Eric must be back.
Eric is home.
It's funny because we used to eat pizza rolls together, and I completely forgot that because, like, it's been a long time, but also you just look like the last person on the planet that would eat a pizza roll. You do. You don't look like a pizza roll person.
I like them a lot.
I don't know what that looks like, but yeah.
Yeah. Draw a picture of a person who eats pizza rolls.
I will give my answer, but then what I thought would be fun is if we tried to pick what we thought the other person would be most likely to turn into. I'm thinking lemon meringue pie for myself. That's probably what I would turn into, because it's one of my favorite things. But I figured you would be a box of minute rice.
But it has to be junk food, right?
Does that not count? You can't be a box of minute rice?
Well, I guess minute rice is considered healthy, even though I snack on it constantly.
It's processed and put in a box. It counts.
It's only rice.
So there's no
other
artificial anything?
Yep.
Okay, well, back to the drawing board for me. Yeah.
How about soft pretzel?
Oh, yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we went to Germany a couple of years ago for 10 days.
We sure did.
I think my count was up to, 9 pretzels that I had while I was over there?
Wow.
He was keeping track.
This is a... Did you want to say what food you thought I would be? Or do you think I'm right about pie?
Yeah, pie. Or you previously a bottle of Mountain Dew.
Yeah, but I'm converted now.
Yeah.
Or not converted. How should I put that? What do you call it when somebody is like an alcoholic stops drinking alcohol?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm that.
You're that.
Yeah. Maybe a Cadbury cream egg.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so sentimental. I have a gooey center. Anyway, oh, this is an interesting question. This is a pre-written one from Matthew Bass. How would you rewrite the spirit?
The spirit?
Yep, the spirit.
Wait, rewrite it?
This is why I went ahead and asked that question.
I like that movie.
You wouldn't, right?
More eggs. I don't like egg on my face.
I mean, that's a thing that I don't think, want to really mess with in the way that it is. I would just make a different movie based on that source material that takes itself more seriously and is not a parody thing, and that is, what... But what I'm saying is, if you were going to do anything to that at all, it either needs to be
more serious,
the ridiculous thing it is, because, like...
and it's awesome.
Yeah, and... Okay, it's. I mean, I do think that movie is flawed, and like, go back and look at the rewind because I forget exactly what I said. But that movie is at odds with itself and can't entirely decide what kind of movie it wants to be. So, like, I would either go back to the drawing board entirely, or I would lean more into the absurdity.
No, I have my answer. What I would change, what I would rewrite about the movie is the trailer.
Yeah.
Because that made you think it was Sin City.
Yeah. It was really misleading.
Not, but so at first it was a disappointment because it's not Sin City, but then as the movie progressed, I realized that it was just fine with me that it was not Sin City because it turned into absurd awesomeness.
Because it tickled your Captain Invincible sensibilities.
Yes, it did.
David Crabtree, $5 super chat. Hey, Cap and Sarah, hope you guys are staying safe, sane, and healthy. Well, at least two of those. Is Sarah as big a fan of Orville as Cap? I can't wait for season 3.
Yep, it's Star Trek in a way that New Trek is not.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's fresh, new, original TNG episodes with a different cast and crew and concept.
But I think it's gotten past just feeling like it's just TNG again, but like for a modern audience. Like I think that by the middle of the second season, it is starting to finally push some envelopes and go to some places that even Trek didn't dare to do.
But it
and
still
I really appreciate
very
that.
much feels like
absolutely
Trek.
Yeah.
So and that's what I appreciate about it.
But I think you could make the case that there are some shows that aren't even trying to be anything like Star Trek at all, that don't even take place in space, that maybe aren't even set in the future, that are more Star Trek than Discovery and Picard.
Yeah. No, I think you could make that argument.
I would almost say anything that isn't cynical at all is immediately more Star Trek than that.
But it's really nice to see a show that's coming up with these great science fiction plots, and they're stuff. It's stuff we haven't really seen before, and we haven't hashed to death. And it's yeah. And like you said, it's still positive. It's upbeat. It's. Yeah.
Alex Barron says it sounds like you're in an abusive relationship with Star Trek Picard.
So should I make a safe house joke?
Nobody will get it, but sure.
Patrick Stewart was in a movie called Safe House. Don't watch it.
No, watch it. It's hilarious. No, it's amazing. What are you talking about?
It's a bad movie that you should see because it's worth seeing.
It's almost a so bad it's good kind of movie. Although it doesn't hold up like something like Captain Invincible does.
Yeah.
Where like the more I show it to people, the more I'm like, this isn't as much fun as it used to be. But the first time I saw it, it was so shocking just to see Patrick Stewart. It's funny, Patrick Stewart throwing F-bombs used to be shocking. And then I saw Logan, but he's like, I love Logan. There's nothing against that movie, but that movie is very excited that it's rated R. They can now put F-bombs in an X-Men movie, and Eric makes fun of this all the time. First 10 minutes, they're just like F-bomb, F-bomb, F-bomb. It's like, this is for adults, you guys. But anyway, no, he's like, there's a scene where he pulls out a gun and he starts shooting at a garden, and he goes, and he's like, he's shooting bugs that are eating his garden, and he goes, "You mother effers are killing all my lilies!" And it's Patrick Stewart. It's the best. And also, how can you not love the deer in the headlights look at the end where he goes, "There's a dead woman in my kitchen. Yeah. There is a dead woman in my kitchen." It's amazing. I mean, like, I just spoiled the ending, but you have to watch it. It's amazing. Sometimes you have to spoil an ending to get people to go look at a thing. You do. Mm-hmm. And there's also a Patrick Stewart mannequin that is hilariously used in that movie. That just really makes me laugh. Remember the first like 3 minutes in that movie where because the premise of that is that he claims to be like ex-CIA or something, and the whole movie you're questioning whether or not he's just senile and believes that he had this this like secret life, and whether or not that actually happened. And he's so paranoid that he sleeps like in a closet in the back of his bedroom, and he puts a mannequin of himself in bed where he's, and then in the morning he moves it and makes the bed. It's hilarious.
I forgot about that, yeah.
And then there's all the goofy disguises he does, and the movie's terrible, but it's great. Anyway, Logan Da, $1.99 Super Chat, thoughts on the new Warriors trailer. I'm assuming you're talking about the new Marvel comic thing that's supposed to have like a bunch of woke superheroes. Is that what we're talking about? Because if there's a trailer for something else, I don't know about that. And I've not seen a trailer. I just saw the costumes for that. I don't know if that's what we're talking about, but I saw the costumes for that book and heard some of the names, and yes, it sounds silly and, in my opinion, really awful, and most of Marvel's just not for me anymore, so, like, yeah, I'm not gonna be reading that, or at least I'm not, I don't want to put a dog in that fight. I don't care. But they have a superhero in that named Safe Space, and they have another superhero in that named, what's the other one? It's even worse than that. I forget now. Anyway.
Snowflake.
Yes, that's what it is.
What?
That's what it is. Thank you. I couldn't remember. Yeah.
I thought I was making a joke.
It's Safe Space and Snowflake. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't know what the other ones are. That is what they're talking about apparently. So yeah. Hey everybody, it's good to see all the folks in the comments. And super cool, all the super chats. You guys are amazing. Thanks so much. TH1, $5 super chat. What non-sci-fi, non-comic movies / TV shows do you watch? What drafting programs do you use in your job? Or do you draft by hand and keep up the good job, guys? Well, I'll let you field that second question first.
Okay, I have not drafted by hand since college. I can, but we move too fast for that to be a thing. I mostly use Revit, which is a 3D modeling program. And so when you draft by hand, you're just drawing lines on paper, move it to the computer and you've got AutoCAD, and so you're just drawing lines in a program, although AutoCAD's a little bit more complicated than that now. But then you basically moved from AutoCAD, 2D lines on a computer screen, to Revit, which is 3D model that you then cut views, so sections and elevations and floor plans, and you annotate those. And so, yeah, mostly Revit is what I work in.
And during the recession, Sarah was laid off a couple times, and the main reason you were able to get work after that, if memory serves, is because you knew Revit in a world where it was brand new.
Yeah.
You had taken the courses on it.
Not in college, not the courses. What happened was...
post-college,
okay.
though, didn't you?
Yeah, so my internship that I had, and they hired me on full-time and then had to lay me off when everybody lost their jobs. But they were switching over from AutoCAD to Revit at that specific time. And so they gave me a full 2-week training in Revit, and so I got really good at it. And so when I got laid off, I managed to find a job really soon, just because there was this other firm that was switching from AutoCAD to Revit, and so they really wanted somebody who knew Revit, which I did. Thankfully.
Would you believe, I'm talking to these folks now, that we got married like 3 months before the recession hit?
Yeah.
Like, we had no idea that the housing market was about to crash.
Yeah. No,
or maybe crazy. It was a little bit in the air, but I wasn't paying attention. Retroactively, it seems like a lot of people like knew that was coming and were like batting down the hatches, but a lot of people weren't listening to it, you know. But I didn't know about it. I wasn't paying attention to the news, you know. Yeah, I had better things to do. I was trying to get married, and I was working at a toy store. I had more important things to do.
Took a bunch of people by surprise.
Yeah. But it's wild. Like, we, I don't know. We were really fortunate. I don't know that we would have had, the wedding we had. And anyway, before I check and see if there's more super chats, I just want to see if there's some other good pre-written questions. Sarah, we got about 10 minutes left here. Anime says I should have DJ take a real-life welding class. That's great. Do you know about the Welder? Have we told you about that
No.
whole thing? So DJ was... I'm going to explain this to Sarah really quick. Everybody here probably knows about this already. We make Welder jokes every week on the Captain Logan show. But Sarah's getting a glimpse back into Geevolution because it's been a long... I do so many shows and talk about so much stuff that I don't tell Sarah about everything because there's just not enough time in the day.
Yeah.
But... DJ, did I tell you this? He was an extra in Spider-Man: Homecoming.
You did.
He was.
Yes.
He was in that movie, and he is in the background. There's a scene or two where you see him, and he's in a welding class, and he's wearing welding gear. And the audience has decided that he later on in the MCU must become a villain named the Welder.
Oh, that's awesome.
And people have come up with a backstory for him. And then in the Breaking Bad movie, there was, that just came out this last year, there's this horrifying bad guy character who is welding. He's like he's like what we all imagined the Welder would be. It's horrifying. So we have seen the Welder on camera now, but he didn't fight Spider-Man.
What?
Yeah, it's nuts.
The welding's fun.
Oh, this is great. Dagan Spear. Hey, Cap, have you ever tried explaining Gotham to Sarah? Yeah, some things about it.
And I did watch the first few episodes. I don't remember how
Did you? I guess you did.
I didn't get very far.
I thought you watched the pilot and said no.
I think I was 3 in. So not very far at all. But yeah, no, it was bad, and I left.
There's a really good episode in that season, because Edlin was on board that first season. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
But Edlin was one of the producers, and he wrote an episode I think you would like of that show.
Okay.
I'm not necessarily saying sit down and watch it. There's a bunch of other things you should probably watch before that. But, man, if only he had been the showrunner. I really wish that had happened.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's some really fun black comedy, as I've always said, in that show, but it's so uneven and can't decide what it is, and it has the same problem that you were describing earlier with Picard, especially in the later seasons, where there is, well, especially third season. Third season's rough, where... I think it's third season. It's been a while. And I've not watched the second half of 5. I will eventually get to that. They adapted No Man's Land. They did No Man's Land. It already feels like a No Man's Land. What's the point? But they have this issue that you were describing with Picard, where you'll be watching several scenes and having no idea why you're looking at them. And it doesn't feel like rising action. It doesn't feel like a progressing narrative. It just feels like, stick this in your back pocket. Stick this in your back pocket. And after a while, my back pocket's too full, and I have other things I'd rather put in it.
Yeah.
So, anyway. David Crabtree, $2 super chat. By the way, West Wing is great non-sci-fi Star Trek. Yeah. David asked me to review the pilot of West Wing at one point. I think you would really enjoy that show. That's maybe a thing we should watch together.
I watched several episodes, not in...
Back when it was on?
Back when it was on. I every once in a while would catch it and enjoyed it, but don't really remember very much from it right now. It's been a while.
Yeah, we should go back at some point and look at them. Dewan, does Jim Starlin overpower Thanos in the comics without the Infinity Gauntlet in retconning his defeats? I've not looked at a whole bunch of Jim Starlin Thanos in a long time, but I always kind of felt that way, that Thanos didn't seem to need the Infinity Gauntlet that much. Once he has it, yes, he's infinitely powerful, but, I've always been a little bit confused as to what exactly the Mad Titan is supposed to be able to do without the Infinity Gauntlet. Like, what does he do? Sometimes you'll see Thanos just flying around in space, and you're like, was he born with that? Like, how does he do that? I thought the Gauntlet having different gems gave him different powers. Like, he's already really super powerful without that, but I've never been able to fully lock down what his power set is. Yes, Blue Dragon 5, it was Spirit of the Goat. That was that Ant Man episode from Gotham I was telling you about. Anime DJ is one of the most underrated parts of the MCU. Yeah, Dimitri. Oh, hi, Dimitri. How you doing? Dimitri's one of the writers in my writing group. Have you played the Star Trek Online game? I've randomly started seeing ads for it all over the place last week. Yeah, they've been ramping up the advertising for that lately because it's their 10-year anniversary, and I actually worked at a GameStop when that came out, back when you had to pay for it. That's a free MMORPG now. Yeah, I actually tried to start playing that again the other day, and it had been so long I couldn't remember how anything worked, so I'll probably have to start over again. I was like standing around at Starfleet headquarters going, how do I even get in my ship? And I thought there was like a place you had to go to get in your ship, and oh no, there's just there's like a fast move like thing where you just press start, and then there's a thing that says go to your ship, and it took me 10 minutes to realize all I had to do was press the start button, and then I was like, I don't know if I want to play this anymore. That game is wonderfully well detailed. Like, if you really know your Star Trek, it rewards you constantly. It's really cool to go explore stuff, but the mechanics for the ship fights are unbearably boring and slow, or at least that's what I remember. Maybe they've gotten better. That's part of why I got back in, or I was going to get back into it. I wanted to see if maybe that had improved. But Sarah, in a lot of ways, it's the Star Trek game you and I always wanted. Where it's not just, ship battles and combat and stuff. It's like Starfleet just gives you different missions, and you go out in space and you deal with different things and a lot of different sorts of missions. But that combat has got to be less complicated and less boring, or I don't want to do it, because I think Star Trek is perfect for an RPG, and I'm not even an RPG guy, but that's the best way to do that.
Yeah.
And everybody has always told me that the Mass Effect games are what you would want to do with a Star Trek RPG, but I suck at RPGs, so I tried to play Mass Effect at one point and immediately was confused, and I've just never gone back and looked at it, because I'm not good at stuff like that. I feel like somebody's dad. Because I'm somebody's dad. But that would maybe be a fun thing for you and I to attempt to look at some point. Maybe. I don't know. I'm going to add it to our list. I feel like the lesson we're learning tonight is, there's all these things that would be maybe cool to do together. Logan Dodd, thoughts on Bob Iger leaving Disney? Yeah, I had heard that. I've not looked into that really, and I don't know exactly what it means for the future. I guess it just depends on, who they replace him with. So I don't want to talk about that a whole lot until I have looked at more information and have more stuff. So bring that up again on the next Captain Logan show, and hopefully I'll know a little bit more at that point, because I was not really prepared for that. And I don't know if you had heard that, the head of Disney's leaving, and, Disney having bought the universe, that is a big deal, absolutely. I'm not sure what exactly it will end up meaning until we see who replaces him. And curious to know why, if it has anything to do with, with Star Wars or anything. I doubt it, but I don't even know, why exactly that is, so, yeah. No, I would never replace Sarah with Felicity. That's ridiculous, Professor Zoom, because Felicity sucks, and also, I'm married and happily married, so, I don't know where that came from. I've never seen that. David Dilks, would you do a remake of the movie Stay Tuned? I've never seen that. Let me just double check and make sure that I haven't missed any super chats. I think there's a place where it just lists them. Hey, Sarah, anything in particular you want to make sure that we talk about before we bid everybody farewell? I'm sorry, people just keep asking me things that you don't know anything about the last 10 minutes or so.
Oh, no, that's okay. Let's see. I can't think of anything.
Well, let's see. We did some Star Trek stuff. Yeah. How's the architecture biz? How's working from home?
It's great, actually. It's awesome. So yeah, no half-hour commute twice a day, and get to just sit on my bed with a laptop on my lap. I do the exact same thing I do at the office, except when I talk to people, it's with a headset. I mean, it's great.
Logan Dot, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that was a super chat initially. I ended up just answering it as a pre-written thing. Yeah, sorry about that. I just missed it. Like I said, this is a lot easier with a chat moderator. So, playing DJ. I invited him. He had better things to do. This mouse drives me crazy. I'll show you guys this. So, I've got this mouse. Have I shown you this mouse?
Not up close. You've told me about it in great detail.
So I got. Oh, all right. Well. I mean, you can leave if you want to, and I'll just finish out the show. No, I'm kidding. So I got this mouse, and I was like desperate for a mouse because my trackball broke. I dropped it, and the trackball got broken. I never had that happen before. And I went to a store, and they only had like gaming mouses. So I bought a gaming mouse, and it's got a button for different like speeds of moving the mouse cursor around, and the button is right where your hand goes. It's right here. So like 3 or 4 times a day I do this, and now it's green, and now the cursor moves way too fast across my screen, and I gotta scroll all the way back around to get it back to white. Why would you put it there? It's ridiculous. Anyway, so that's my mouse rant. All right, well, folks, I think that's going to about do it for us tonight. Sarah, thanks a bunch for doing this with me.
Sure, it was fun.
I certainly enjoyed it, and it's, I don't know, I miss having you on camera and having you do this with me,
here.
so. Well, hopefully sometime you'll feel like doing it again. I don't want to make any promises because like our schedules are weird and it makes it kind of difficult.
It's hard to match up times, yeah.
And I have told because people have. I mean, I want to be totally transparent. People have asked me like, why doesn't Sarah come on camera more? And some of it is time, and some of it is this. This is not like your natural element, like it sort of kind of is for me.
No.
I'm not saying you're bad on camera because I've always thought you're quite good at it, but
introvert.
Yeah, but Sarah's kind of an introvert, and I told people a couple weeks ago when they asked me about this that like you're just not a big camera, but you don't like being on camera.
No.
Generally speaking.
Generally speaking, no.
But I hope you had fun.
I do have fun. It's
Well, anyway, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Hope you had a good time. I hope I didn't miss any super chats. I looked at the list of them, and I think I got them all. If somehow I missed one, let me know, and I'll make sure and tackle it on Thursday on the next one. We're gonna be stuck in the house, you know, like Ant Man at the beginning of Ant Man and the Wasp for at least a month. It turns out.
At least not 3 years.
2 years, but yeah.
Oh, was it? Yeah, 2 years and then 3 years probation or whatever it was.
Yes, I think that's what it was, yeah. Anyway, so
30 days for us.
There may be some extra live shows occasionally here and there. I don't want to promise anything, but I'm considering popping on camera a little bit more often just because I know folks are a lot of folks are kind of sitting at home looking for something to do and could use some kind of positive escapist whatever it is we do here. So I will do my best to pop on a little bit more often if at all possible. TH1, what about the first part of my super chat? Did we just skip his... 1 second. Hold on. I'm having a hard time getting back to it right away. I may just have to tackle it on Thursday. Sorry about that. Give me just a second here. See if I can find it. Yeah, there was one, Sarah, where, what non-sci-fi, we forgot to answer this part, what non-sci-fi, non-comic movies or TV shows do you watch? Most of the stuff that I watch, I end up reviewing, so there's not a lot of, well, you know what, lately I've been going through Jerry Seinfeld's Comedians in Car Getting Coffee, which I had watched an episode or two of, just with people I like, but I have found that I enjoy Seinfeld's personality enough that I can watch episodes of that show with even people I don't know or don't care about, and it's fun, and I've been kind of enjoying that as just a thing to kind of get away from things with, and it's kind of a, it's a fun, upbeat, kind of positive show. So
yeah, I'm trying to think of non-sci-fi, non-comic shows I watch right now. Movies, TV shows. I guess because right now, like I said, I don't have very much free time, and so I don't really spend it watching things usually unless I'm watching it, with Cap or with the family. But in general, I like a lot of action stuff. I like action adventure. I like older movies a lot.
Yeah.
So a lot of the classics.
We watched an old John Wayne movie a couple months ago called McClintock.
That I hadn't seen since I was maybe 12, and totally forgot.
It's not a good movie.
Forgot what that movie was.
I enjoyed scenes of it, but I feel like there are two completely different cuts to make of that movie that are it is two different movies sandwiched into one, and I think the serious parts are much better than the comedic bits.
Yeah, I found myself kind of wishing the comedic parts weren't really there and were filled in with just more serious story, because I thought the story was good, decent, but
it's a lot of slapstick and people getting messy in the mud and stuff. Like, it's not good.
Yeah.
I don't know why we watched that.
It was fun, but it wasn't the best John Wayne movie.
And I haven't seen very much John Wayne movies, or very many John Wayne movies, so
better John
like
Wayne.
good ones, yeah.
But yeah.
McClintock with an exclamation point. Remember that?
Well, you need the exclamation point so you know it's a comedy.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Sure. We're not really watching anything together right now, besides Star Trek.
Yeah.
I don't think. I did take you through the O.J. Simpson miniseries.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, and that was
We did
really
that
good.
recently. I have been wanting to show you that forever.
Yeah. It was
Boy,
awesome.
I love that show. Mm-hmm. It's so good. I've watched it 3 times now.
Yeah.
I just could not get enough of that. It's fantastic. And like so many people, I became kind of obsessed with that case and watched documentaries and things. And there was that really good documentary that was made around the same time that came out, which you need to see. But there's not any way to get it right now, which sucks. Because that was on, what network had that? I can't even remember now. And they pulled it. It was Discovery or something. And they discovered, no, what channel? I forget. They took it down. Anyway. But yeah, John says that you pretending to be Doomsvince was the funniest part of Spawn here. So anyway, guys, thanks a bunch.
It took us half an hour to shoot that part.
No, it took us longer than that.
Okay, it took us a very long time.
We had to put off dinner.
Part.
We were supposed to go out to dinner, and I was like, Sarah, the kids are getting hungry. We've got to get through this, and we just couldn't stop cracking each other up. And the main reason was because we started doing Ian McKellen.
Know what they say.
We started doing Ian McKellen Magneto, because there's a line in there where she goes. It was my fault that we kept cracking up because I couldn't help myself when because of the way you said it. Because she's doing her Doomsvince voice and she goes, she's reading directly off book. It's the script. It's like, you know what they say? I don't even know what the other part of that line is now. It's just, you know what they say. And I just look at her because she said, like, say, and I just looked at her and I go, is that what they say? And from X2, and
we just couldn't make it work after that.
You kept like trying to change your modulation, figure out if there's some way you can say it where we won't be thinking about that scene, and then immediately we're like, this dorky looking helmet. We just did the whole scene.
Did everything. Yeah, it was crazy.
Man. Oh, 123 Rock fan. Hey, Cap, not sure if you can read this. I can. It's right there. But so glad you liked the Batman drawing I sent you. Yeah, it's great. It's hanging on my wall. You saw that.
I did.
It's awesome. Yep. So anyway, well, I ended the show, and now I'm going to do this a lot. I'm going to actually end the show. Thanks so much, everybody, for being here. Hope you had a good time. This is a lot of fun. And love you. You rock. Thanks for doing this with me. Appreciate it. All right, folks. We will see you again next time. I was Captain Logan. And
I'm Sarah.
Bye, everybody.